know it's very unusual for a head of government to go public with such explosive allegations against the government. To this point, India's reactions are exactly what one would have expected. So there was no way that India was just going to sit on its hands after these explosive allegations. Third-party mediation can be useful from the US or perhaps from the UK. The US, which has this strategic partnership with India because of, indeed, this strong view that India can play that role of counterweight to China. So the US is in a tough spot, for sure. I know it's very unusual for a head of government to go public with such explosive allegations against the government, and particularly in the case of India. India, so far as I know, has never been accused of any government in the West, particularly a key Western partner like Canada, of being involved in a state-sponsored assassination. So in that sense, to this point, India's reactions are exactly what one would have expected. The tit-for-tat responses, the expulsion of diplomats, the travel advisory warning. And keep in mind as well, the Indian government it likes to be projected as very strong, confident, nationalistic. So there was no way that India was just going to sit on its hands after these explosive allegations were made. Of course, the best way to resolve it, the most ideal way, which is probably the least likely way to resolve it, is for India to agree to cooperate with Canada in Canada's investigation of this assassination. That has been Canada's core consistent demand from day one. That's where third-party mediation can be useful from the US or perhaps from the UK or another close friend of both countries. That's the key. I mean, it's too early to look for off-ramps, but I think it's not too early to think about how to ensure that each side does not ascend a few more rungs on the escalatory ladder. Now, this is a relationship that's important for both Canada and India, and neither country wants to imperil the long-term future of the relationship. So I think that the hope is that in due course, cooler minds will prevail. But it could take some time for that to happen. These countries, all of which have alliances with Canada that go beyond the intelligence alliance, this Five Eyes alliance as well, they need to find some way to signal their support to Canada during this very difficult moment. But indeed, those same countries, especially the US and the UK, they have very important relationships with India as well, and certainly the US, which has this strategic partnership with India because of, indeed, this strong view that India can play that role of counterweight to China. So the US is in a tough spot, for sure. So to this point, public messaging from the US has largely been around expressing concern about the allegations, but not going any further than that.
ಅದೇ ಹಳೆ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಅದೇ ಹಳೆ ಟೇಪ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡರ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಬನ್ನಿ, ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಜೊತೆ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ರಾತ್ರಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಸುದ್ದಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಹತ್ತರ ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ರಾತ್ರಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಚ್ಚುಮೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬಿಗ್ 3 ಬದಲಾದ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ. ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ.